Right now, I'm working on my 2000 Cadillac Escalade. I just got done changing the inner and outer tie rods. Now I'm about to change my passenger side upper control arm, which came with the upper ball joint and the bushings. I ordered it from this company online. Ordered from this company online, you might have heard, rockauto.com. The part was $50 shipped, which is actually pretty good because AutoZone wanted $150 and the dealer wanted $160. So AutoZone is a little expensive to me on that one. But I went with the brand Mevotech Supreme, and this is what's in the box. When I ordered it through Rock Auto, it took roughly 3 days to arrive. So that was pretty good. Okay, that's what comes in the box. It had a lot of this packing recyclable air system. A lot. I took it all out, but it was a lot. Packaging was very good. So it comes in this plastic bag, and you get 4 bolts and a can't think of the name of it. You get the little pin that goes in between the cotter pin. The cotter bolt. Cotter nut. So this is what it comes in the package. Take it out. So it already comes pre-assembled. It's pre-assembled with the upper ball joint in, and it's bolted down. So I guess those extra bolts that's in that little package are just extra. Here's the cotter pin. Here's the castle nut, and the cotter pin is in the bag. Comes with brand new, obviously, comes with brand new bushings, and comes with the Zerks fitting already installed. And this is pretty much all you get. So it's kind of like plug and play. Take it off, put this one on. I already took it off. Don't see it, but it was this protective plastic boot that was over this in the packaging. So the packaging was outstanding. I went with Mevotech. I've heard a lot of reviews on Moog and TRW and AC Delco. I said, let me try this product out. Lifetime warranty. If I don't like it, it's in the back. So I'll show you the next step. Once you get your car all jacked up on blocks, however it is you're gonna support it, this is what you're gonna do. You can see how my upper bushings are cracked, starting to corrode. A lot of squeaking. If I was able to push the car up and down right now, you would hear the squeaking coming from this side. But this is what you want to do. You have to take off right there where the light is. There's a nut and a cotter pin, which is connected to the steering knuckle. So you take the cotter pin out, take the nut out, pop out your upper ball joint, take off these bolts. There's nut on this side, bolt on the inside. There's the bolt, there's the nut. The nut on the outside is, the nut is a, nut is I'm using a 22 millimeter on the nut and bolt actually, so I'm using 22 millimeter. Now you know these washers are actually oval shaped. They have a funny shape to them, and there's an arrow. I don't know if you can see the arrow, but okay, there's the arrow. There's an arrow. So there's one on the inside. There's one on the inside and the outside on both. And what you want to make sure you do is make sure that arrow is pointing up. And then the bolt itself, you can see how it's not completely round. It's flat at the top. When I take the bolt out, you'll see what I mean, and that's why you need those arrows pointed up. Now here's a little tip. What you want to do is you want to separate the ball joint from the steering knuckle first before you try to take these bolts off at the top, because if you just try to take the bolts off, it's under so much pressure holding up the steering knuckle and everything that you will not get these bolts out. As soon as you take these bolts out, as soon as you take out the ball joint, these just come out no problem. Now you have one wire. This is my speed sensor wire, or ABS, it's one or two. What you want to do is I have to take this bolt out, and this is a 13 millimeter. Take this bolt out, and I take these two little clips out. Take those two little clips, and then the wire's out the way, and then I can, I'm not gonna remove my shock because I don't have to. There's enough room to get those bolts out. I'm not going to actually talk once I'm doing this. So I'll just put the camera down and film it. Oh, one last thing. I have a tie rod separator. Here I just took the little clips out holding my wire, and I just took the 13 millimeter bolt, nut and bolt out that was where the wire was attached down to the upper ball joint. You know, today it's really not that dark, but in the garage it's a little gloomy, so it's hard for me to film. This is all the light I have. Sorry, so I'm gonna have to do it this way. I'll have to actually do the procedure, like I'm a surgeon, do the procedure and then just show you the results. Taking off the nut from the bottom of the ball joint was 1 1/16". That's the size of this nut. I had to use a wrench. Alright. As you can see, I just put the separator up in there. Now I'm about to hammer it on there, and I'll show you how it pops it out.
Are you listening? Yeah.
So you can see, it did just pop it right on out. So here's the ball joint, the upper ball joint. I mean, this thing is just all over the place. I would hit bumps and the whole car was shake because of this. You can see how loose this is. So with the ball joint out, you can see how there's no pressure. I mean, no tension. So all I'm about to do is take the upper two bolts out. Just take the upper two bolts out. And then I'll go ahead and slap the other one back in. And film that in a second. Alright, I'm actually going to do my best to try to film this side. I just took off this side over here, and I mean, you can see this thing, it's just moving up and down with no resistance. So I'm going to I used my breaker bar just to break the initial tension, and then I just used the ratchet, and then I grabbed this after. So let's see. Alright, hard to do this with one hand. Alright. Now, let me put my ratchet on it. Put my ratchet on. And now, I don't know if you can see that arrow. I don't know, maybe you can see it. But that arrow is pointing up, and you can see how this is round at the bottom and then it plateaus off at the top, and that's exactly how this bolt looks. And there's another washer on the inside. So there you have. Now better, I can turn it right. So you can see it's flat on the top, and so the arrow's pointing up. The bolt goes in from the inside, nut goes on the outside. Take it off over here. Kind of hard doing this with one hand. Alright, piece of cake. Okay, now that I have them side by side, I mean, the play in this is ridiculous. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's making a clicking sound. And this one, I can't even move this one. I mean, obviously this is brand new. This is 15 years old. I could just spin it. Doesn't spin, but I'm gonna have to take off this bolt so that I can mimic this, and then attach the sensor back to it. But the fit, the size, everything looks identical, and I'll go ahead and put this back in, make sure those arrows on the washers point up, tighten that down, go ahead and tighten this back down. I don't know the specs to tighten it down. Right now I have to look in the book, so as soon as I put these in, I'll look in the book, tighten it down to specs, tighten my castle nut down, put the cotter pin in, then I'm done. And I'm happy to be done because I'm tired. Okay, I have it back on. I couldn't film it, it was just too dark, couldn't hold the camera and the light. But the arrow's back at the top on the outside, the arrow's back on the top on the inside, the arrow on that washer is at the top. Oh, I don't know if you can tell, but the washer it has a flat side and a rounded side. The rounded side goes on the inside. The rounded side touches the frame of the car, and the flat side touches the nut. And that's on both sides. Flat side touches the bolt on the inside. Flat side touches the nut on the outside. I put the sensor wire back on, and I have the castle nut and cotter pin in, and it went in pretty straightforward. So I have to give Mevotech credit. It was a flawless, seamless installation. Took it off, put it back on. So the only tool that I needed was the tie rod separator and a breaker bar and the 1 1/16 wrench with a 22mm wrench, and then pretty much just basic hand tools after that. So hope that helps somebody. Mevotech.